March 27, 1977, two jumbo jets carrying hundreds of passengers collide in a fiery catastrophe on a foggy runway, 583 lives lost in the deadliest aviation accident in history. How could such a tragedy happen? Miscommunication, human error, and a series of seemingly small mistakes combined to create the perfect storm. This is the story of the Tenerife disaster, a day that changed aviation forever. The Tenerife disaster remains the deadliest accident in aviation history, claiming 583 lives on March 27, 1977. But how did such a tragedy unfold? It began when a bomb exploded at Gran Canaria Airport, forcing numerous flights to divert to the smaller Los Rodeos Airport on Tenerife. Two Boeing 747s were among the diverted planes. Both were preparing for departure when thick fog descended on the airport, reducing visibility to less than 300 meters. This fog made visual navigation nearly impossible and heightened the importance of clear radio communication with air traffic control. The Pan Am crew began to escalate. The KLM crew received permission to taxi into position at the start of the runway and then hold for takeoff clearance. Meanwhile, the Pan Am crew was instructed to follow the same runway and exit onto a specific taxiway to clear the path for KLM. But in the poor visibility, the Pan Am crew missed their intended taxiway and continued farther down the runway. The critical moment occurred when the KLM captain misunderstood his instructions. Believing he had clearance to take off, he announced over the radio, "We are now at takeoff." At the same time, the Pan Am crew overheard the KLM transmission and immediately radioed to clarify their position, saying, "We are still taxiing down the runway." However, due to overlapping transmissions, a phenomenon called radio blocking, the messages were garbled. Unable to see through the fog, the KLM captain began his takeoff roll. The Pan Am crew, realizing the imminent collision, turned sharply to the left, but it was too late. The KLM plane struck the Pan Am aircraft at full speed, igniting a massive fireball. All 248 passengers and crew on the KLM flight perished. Only 61 Pan Am passengers survived, escaping through a section of the fuselage that remained intact. The disaster was the result of a tragic chain of events: congested airport conditions, poor visibility, miscommunication, and the critical radio overlap that prevented vital warnings from being heard. In the aftermath, sweeping changes were implemented in aviation safety. Standardized phraseology, such as "clear for takeoff" and "stand by," became mandatory to avoid ambiguity. Pilots were also required to read back all instructions to confirm understanding. Ground radar technology was improved to help air traffic controllers monitor aircraft, even in low visibility. The Tenerife disaster stands as a stark reminder of how small missteps in aviation can cascade into catastrophic outcomes, emphasizing the critical importance of clear communication and vigilance in ensuring safety.